Hey there, everybody. The purpose of this video is to get you a set of instructions on how to make a pie chart in Microsoft Excel version 2010. So let's just get down to it. The first thing you want to do is launch Excel. I got a little quick launch on my toolbar here. So you click that, opens up a blank sheet. Okay, so a quick introduction to what you're looking at here. We'll do this in class too, but you've got columns that are listed by letter and rows that are listed by number. And any cell is made up of a column named letter and a row named number. So that's cell D3, and this is cell D8, and this is cell H5. So we're going to start by just putting some data into this sheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put self-titled. I'm going to put good night sellout. I'm going to put narcolepsy. I'm going to put marching band, and I'm going to put 3. Okay, into those. Now notice how you see what happens here. We type some of the stuff goes over the bar there. If you double click the line between these two columns, it'll make that column wide enough to encompass, to show you all of that. We'll learn other tricks like that in class, but that's just a way to get it kind of together right now. All right, so for self-titled, I'm going to put the number 13 behind it. For Goodnight Sellout, I'm going to put the number 15 next to it. For narcolepsy, I think that's 18. I'm going to put 18 there. Marching band, if I remember correctly, was 12, and 3 will be 14. And these are the 5 albums my band has put out over the past 20 years. This is one's coming out in May of 2016. So yeah, this is currently before that release date. So anyway, we've got our data in here now. Now, if you want, and I tend to do this, I'm going to center everything. I like it when the data is centered. So I'm going to select it and then press this little button here. And that way everything's together and centered right there. Okay, so now we've got ourselves our data. We've got our 5 album titles. And we've got our song numbers here. And we'll take care of that in a second. So what we're going to do is we're going to select all of it. And the way you select all of it, I just did this before when I centered. You're going to left click and hold that left button down I start in the top left corner. And then you're going to drag your mouse until everything you want highlighted is highlighted, and then let go. Okay, now you've selected all of that data. It's ready to go. And we're going to insert a pie chart. So you go on up here to the insert, I think it's called a ribbon. Left click the insert ribbon, and you're going to wander over to pie. And you're just going to you're going to left click on pie. 2D pie, we'll talk more in class about why not to use anything else other than a 2D pie. And when you left click on that, what pops up is your pie chart. So here you go. Here it is in all its beauty. I don't think it's as beautiful as it could be. I think we can actually do better than this. So we will do better than this. But you're done as far as getting a pie chart in. But the thing about it is if someone wants to look at this pie chart, they might not know what it's all about. If I gave this to you without the introduction I just gave to you, you would have no idea what this chart was about. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to left click in the chart. Okay, so it's activated. And I'm going to go up to Layout, the Layout tab up here. And I'm going to insert a chart title. Okay, and if I left click on that, it gives me a couple different options. I can go above the chart, which will shove the chart down to make room. I can go centered overlay, which will actually just place the title on top of the graphic. I like above personally. We can always resize things to make things larger or more obvious. So the chart title is going to be Songs on Cloud United Records. And you can get more specific than that. I think that in and of itself tells you what's going on so far. So Songs on Cloud United Records. Okay, so now I look at this graph and I go, okay, so what is this? It's a pie. It's got 5 colors. Light blue. What is light blue? And that's where this little guy over here comes in. This is called a legend. So it's got the 5 titles that I typed into the left column over there in C. They are a little bit small, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to left click on the legend, And I'm going to go back to the Home ribbon. And we're going to use this little tool here. It's called the Increase Font Size tool. We're going to left click on it a little bit. And you'll notice as you left click on it, what happens is the font gets bigger. If you get too big, notice that one of the legend items disappears. So you can downsize. You can also make the exterior window larger to make room for a larger, whoops, I missed it there. You can left click and drag these to make room for larger graphics and larger legends if you want. You can move the legend around a little bit. You can put it up here, drag it around, so forth and so forth. Okay, so now you've got an idea of okay, so these must be the records and these must be the songs. But the problem is you don't know how many songs they are. You know, it looks like, I'm going to say, you know, it's roughly, what is it, 70% each and maybe 80% down here. And that's fine, but let's not make people wonder. So what we're going to do is we're going to click into the circle itself. You see when I do that, how you get the little sections here to kind of pop up. That was a left click. I'm going to right click now. And what I'm going to go to is I'm going to go to Add Data Labels. Now when I go to Add Data Labels, what it allows me to do is it now shows the actual data that I presented into column D. Now they're very small, so I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did before by making these labels bigger. Now don't get too carried away. If you get a little too carried away, you can make them so big that something weird happens. Yeah, exactly. That starts happening. I think that's obnoxious looking. The font sizes are way too big. So I'm going to drop them back. I don't know, maybe like there. If you want, you can make them bold. You can hit Control B and it bolds them, or you can hit the B button up here. And that is looking pretty good so far. I mean, that looks like a pretty good pie chart. I'm going to make this font title a little bit bigger. It does shrink the pie down, and so you can play. I mean, I'm getting a little bit subjective here about with what I'm making the chart look like. So I'm making some fonts bigger, some fonts smaller, moving the legend around and things like that. Okay, so that's again, you now have a labeled pie chart. It's got a legend that's clear. I've got numbers on the pie slices. You can change these numbers to percentages. If I remember correctly, I think all you've got to do is right click on the numbers. So what I did was I right clicked on the numbers, format data labels, yeah, and then just take the value, uncheck it, and check percentage instead. And now it'll tell you what percent of the data is actually in there. 25. Earlier I said 70%. I'm so sorry, friends. I was doing degrees in my head. I was taking 360 degrees and breaking it up by 70 degrees, 80 degrees, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, these make a lot more sense. So you've got 21% here, 25% here, 17, 19, 18. They should add up to 100%. Let's do a quick check here. 17 and 19 is 36, 54 plus 46 is 100%. Ba-boom, there you go. You've added up to 100%. That makes perfect sense. They should add up to 100%. So now you've got yourself a nice little pie chart with labels. You can have percentages, or if you want, you can format those data labels and put them back to values. Doesn't matter to me. Again, you can have a lot of fun with this once you get going. But that's just a basic introduction to how to get some data into a pie chart. All right, talk to you later.